And I guess we just roll right into fabrication. Well, welcome back to your, I don't know. I think feel like this isn't going to be as thunderous. This is my favorite class. I love fabrication. I do love construction. Don't get me wrong, but fabrication is the bomb, as the kids would say. Sick dope, as one of them told me the other day. And so we have so much fun. This is where the all the magic happens. The welding dreams come true right here. And it's such a shame. I usually love. Well, I'm still having fun here, but I usually really love open house because it's amazing watching students come through here. And we have a CNC table, and we have it running and cutting, and students working in flames. And I often say to students, where else can you learn? Like, where else can you burn things and not get in trouble, right? But learn and how to do it safely. That's another matter. So we do all sorts of things here, and absolutely love it. Most of my students really love it. I've had students, so we offer the 10, 20, 30 level, but we also offer, I've had students, because there's 40 different credits that we can offer students. So if students have finished all 30 levels, they can come back and take what I call 30B and 30C. So I've had students who've ended up earning almost 40 credits just in fabrication. That's how much they love it. So what do we do? A lot of people are confused because the technical term for the program is fabrication studies. I like to call it metal fabrication because a lot of students have told me, well, Mr. Anderson, I didn't take your class because I thought it was sewing. We don't sew here. We work with metal, and we do all sorts of fun things with metal. So if you love working with your hands, love to design, learn new valuable skills as a hobby or for a high-paying career, then the Sabre Heavy Metal Department is the place for you. What do we start out? So the very first thing we do is we learn how to light an oxyacetylene torch. That is the second when students realize whether they love it or it's not really for them. So we like to get that out of the way first. And I've only, I think, had one out of 1,000 students that has said, nope, that's it, I'm out. But we learn how to use oxyacetylene torches. Then we go from there. We do a lot of welding, but this class isn't just about welding. We also learn a lot of measurement, sheet metal work. We do a lot of work. We have a CNC machine, which the students love. I love it too. It is fantastic. But we do learn the 5 different types of welding processes. So oxy-fuel, we use stick, or what people call arc welding. We use MIG. We learn TIG as well as flux core. So basically, students get a chance to try all the main welding techniques, but they also end up, like I said, we do a lot of sheet metal work. We also learn about a lot of other trades. One of the things, just like I do in construction, we spend quite a bit of time talking about different trades, such as pipe fitting, boiler maker, iron worker, millwright. There's so many different ones that we talk about and kind of explore some different career options. But a lot of my students, again, like I said, as in construction, some of them go into the trades. Not all of them do, and a lot of them don't. But they do really enjoy being here. Again, we end up, it really becomes like a team environment. In fact, we have these sweet shirts, and lots of us wear them to class every day and go on and get to know each other really well. And we do have a lot of fun. So our CNC, we have a 4x8 foot one. It's there's no pictures, and it's just like over there. But the students really love that. So it basically robotically cuts out metal anywhere up to an inch. So as you see in this picture here, that was Father's Day a few years ago, or sorry, maybe it was. Anyway, it was before COVID, so it was either first semester last year. I think it was first semester, or no, year before. Anyway, it was pre-COVID, but these guys, they all made some signs. A lot of them, you see the man cave signs they were making for their dads for Father's Day. But they really like to, we spend quite a bit of time. They get to design their own projects that they can take home, and we do learn. I also teach them how to paint. We have a paint booth over there as well, and we've had a lot of amazing projects come out. They will gain knowledge and experience with many of the tools that metal workers and artists use daily to build meaningful projects. And they do. It's a little bit different in fabrication because we don't make as many big projects because we spend a lot of our time learning, especially in grade 10, learning all the different welding techniques and cutting techniques. Students will have time to, every student gets to build a sign and take it home. And so there's lots of great examples on our website, and there's a great picture when we first got our t-shirts in. Yeah, so yeah, like I said, we're like a team in here, and we have a lot of fun. And again, it's also, I'm pretty easygoing in the sense that, you know, if students want to cut, if they approach me and they want to build something exciting and it's reasonable, then we can. In grade 10, we spend a lot of time learning the basics because there's a lot. And it's not to we've never had any major incident here, and I don't mean to, you know, it shouldn't be scary, but it is. We do have to go through quite a bit of safety since we're working with some things that can be dangerous if they're not used properly. So we spend a lot of time just learning those basics. In 20 and 30 level, students have a lot more time to design and build their own projects as well. In 10, they have a little bit of time for that. And we have some cool ideas and some new things going on. So they'll learn many skills which will prepare them for a variety of high-paying trade careers as well as careers in design and engineering. It's not just about the trade, so this is a great place for students to learn a pretty valuable skill, right? A lot of my students have come back and they bought welders. You can get a welder for such a low price now. And they just really enjoy it as a hobby. But it is also a great entry point if students want to go into our registered apprenticeship program, or if they want to go into the trades afterwards. I actually am using an online course right now where students can actually get a certificate that they've taken the program, which will help them get a job hopefully afterwards, and will also their skills and having taken this class will help. And if students do a really great job, I've written a number of reference letters to try and help them gain employment afterwards if they are looking at it as a career. So students could earn up to 30 high school credits. Technically, actually, they could earn up to 40, I suppose. Yeah, I've had students take it 5 different classes, so they've spent basically half their high school career in my class, and we develop a strong relationship and have a lot of fun, and they still come back and visit, and you know, it's great. Again, before we start with the Q&A, I just want to say my website, because I've been doing this here, and like I said, I'm a journeyman, a journey person as well, and so I've been here a long time. My fabrication website, I spent a lot of time. Please look at it. There are a lot of great pictures of student work, of examples. It's been updated just recently. And so a lot of your, if you're looking for pictures of what students actually do, it actually really, there's a photo gallery with, I think, like 100 and some pictures. So please go there afterwards. And and now I guess I will take any questions if I failed to not answer anything.
Thank you, Mr. Anderson. In this program, do students work in groups or individually?
Ooh, that's okay. So, wow, I've never had that answer before or question before, and I'm just thinking about it. A little bit of both, I suppose. To be honest, they don't. It really depends on the numbers in the class. We kind of max out at 24, and 24 is quite a few, and we don't quite have that many machines. So students do kind of partner and switch on and off. But no, it is an individual thing. Like we kind of work together. We help each other out. We're like a team. We often need somebody to help us, or sometimes, I guess, you know, the real answer to the question is a lot of students do choose to partner up and work with their friends and take turns. Like they'll do a weld, then the other one will do a weld and share a welding booth. But I don't purposely put students together to do that. They do work together often, and we all kind of work together because it's not the largest room ever, and so we work together. You have an opportunity, I guess. Students have the opportunity to work with other students, but they are not forced to work in partners, and they're graded on their individual work, but that doesn't mean that they don't work together often, and that it becomes quite almost a club really, and so students get along quite well. We help each other out. So yes, we work together, but we also work alone. I don't know, that's probably not much of an answer, but hopefully that explains it.
Thank you, Mr. Anderson. And do students powder coat projects as well?
Wow, where are these questions coming from? That's a great one. I would love to. I've looked into powder coating. I would absolutely love to powder coat. I don't have an oven yet. I am always trying to build on our program. I would love to. I have had students who had parents that had a business and they ended up taking their sign home to powder coat it. But no, we do have like use the air compressor and sprayers, and we do the best that we can without powder coating it. They usually look pretty good, but no, unfortunately, not yet. Maybe one day, I hope, but it is, yeah, I don't have the ovens to do it. Sorry.
And Mr. Anderson, last question here. What life skills will I learn by attending your class?
Well, life skills. It's, I think a large part, like when I spent all the time in the trades, you're always working with different people. And so it is actually a really, like I said, it's kind of like a team here. And I think students, it's a great experience for them to learn and work together with people that they get along with. And sometimes people they don't necessarily get along with so well at the start, but in the end, they end up being good friends. And so, just those, the expectations of what maybe an employer would expect, but they also learn things that would help them a lot in a hobby. Like, metal art is becoming extremely popular right now, and it's a lot of hobbyists that buy a welding machine, a small welding machine for maybe $1,000, and they do it as a hobby every day. But also just measuring and learning how to work with all sorts of different tools that you might use after school, and in many other different careers. So life skills, again, I like to spend a lot of time letting students know like what employers would expect, what other, and not just in the trades either, but in any job that they might have soon, and how important it is to be punctual and not be the first person out the door with your coveralls off and cleaned up while everybody else is cleaning up. And so we learn a lot about just working together, what the trades involved, and even if they don't go into those trades, it's still nice to know what other friends and peers and parents and what their occupation involves, and it helps them at the end of it. Really, I'm a strong believer in giving students discovering themselves and finding out, like, is this something I want to do as a career? Is this something that I want to do for fun afterwards, or is it a class that I just really enjoyed having in school to break things up? I learned a few things, and I'm going to pursue something else. But now I know a lot about, if I ever have to measure around and fix things and build something, then you have those skills, right? There's a lot of transferable skills when it comes to measurement and using grinders and drills and other regular tools. So I'd like to think that students come in. It's amazing when they come in at the start of grade 10 and they're so shy and bashful, and it's a whole big school, and within a few months everybody's just laughing together. They're all friends. It's an amazing thing to see, and I have a pretty large sorry, I'm just reading another question here. I have a number of students that just absolutely love my class and come back and visit all the time. 2 quick questions. I'm just going to answer these. I know I'm going over time. The question is, do I have a forge? I do. I'm currently in the process. I have a forge. Kind of boring hearing me twice, but here I am. And this is my other favorite class. And actually, you want to just, Mr. Shrimpton, you want to just put this on me? Here we go. Show everybody what kind of things we make in our, I don't know. No, are we going to do that? Okay. Anyway, yeah, here we go. Here's something one of our students made on our CNC plasma table. Yeah, we do lots of cool things. We'll go back to the presentation now that I showed you that. We have a great websites, and I mentioned it before in the construction presentation if you're here for that. But we have great websites if you go into salcomp.ca and you go into the CTS area, it will direct you into our different CTS areas. And if you go into my fabrication one, I have, I think, over 100 pictures of student work. We also do some customer service work. So if parents or other members of the community want signs built, we do that at a reasonable price, and it helps kind of fund our program so I can buy more metal and more things for the students and more projects that they can take home without having to charge for them. Please do go and take a look at that website. I spent a lot of time working on it, and it's a great resource for students when they're looking for ideas as well to build. And also, if you want us to build you a sign, all the information's there. And like I said, we do it at a fraction of the cost of what you would be doing it online for. I think I don't know. I think I hopefully answered a number of questions people have, but I'm sure that I left a few things out. If you do have any other questions, like now's the time, please fire off a question and it'll be read and I will do my best to answer. And I appreciate you guys coming to check where the welding magic happens in the fabrication department.
Mr. Anderson, do you have a forge?
Yes, actually. So this is exciting. I'm actually really happy to brag about this. So last year, actually, we applied for a grant from the Canadian Welding Bureau. And so one of the things that I purchased was a forge and a furnace. I'm in the middle of playing with it right now and getting it up for student use for hopefully next semester so that I have some more experience in it. Ironically enough, I was actually signed up for a blacksmithing course, but then COVID hit. But we do have a forge. We're going to be exploring that. And hopefully by the time, I'll have we'll be teaching it next year. Yes. Exciting. I know. I'm excited.
Does this program prepare you well for post-secondary?
Yeah, I mean, yes, I wish, having gone into the trades myself, I kind of have designed this program and the way I operate it so that students get a really big head start in any trade that they would go into, or especially the metal trades, but really any trade. And so we try and I explain to students how we spend a lot of time talking about how post-secondary works, what is required. I have a big poster on my board in my classroom, like this is what we need to get into post-secondary. Most of my students, I've had a number of students come back that are in the middle of a trade, and they've actually really thanked me for letting them know early on what it was going to require, and that they had already, they felt that they were already so much further ahead than their classmates who didn't know much. More importantly, because the way apprenticeships work, especially if you're looking at doing an apprenticeship, is that students start an apprenticeship before they ever go to post-secondary. So they'll work for a year. So one of my big goals is to get students to the point where they can be really, an asset at a job site before they go to school. And so that they have skills and that they can show an employer that they've taken this class and they know how to use all these tools. So it gives them a leg up to get into an apprenticeship and then go to post-secondary. So yeah, I think it's if you're looking at going into a trade, absolutely. But we also have lots of other students who just want to take a fun class and have a great time here. And I have some students that also end up going into engineering, and they want to learn like the kind of the ground floor of how to build things before they go into engineering. So absolutely, I think it's an amazing course for students going into post-secondary.
Thank you, Mr. Anderson. And do students work in groups or individually?
So, students actually, they kind of have the choice. The thing is, we don't have, luckily enough, we don't have too many students in here just because of the size of the shop. So we try and have less than 20. And so a lot of times, sometimes we don't have enough machines for everybody or we have to share, but we end up being a really close-knit group. So students actually end up having if they want to work together with other students, like that opportunity is there and they are working in such close proximity. The actual work they submit is individual, but do they help each other? Do they share a welding booth together? Absolutely. And so if a student really wants to work with one of their friends and work closely, sure, I don't have an issue with that as long as the work's getting done. And some students like to work on their own, and they can do that too. So it's really up to them. But I don't force students together and say you're partnered with so and so for the whole year. I wouldn't do that. Are there any other questions?
Thank you for your presentation, Mr. Anderson. We'll be starting the next presentation in just 1 minute. So if you have any further questions for him, feel free to email him at stephen.anderson@eips.ca.
And thank you very much. And please check out those websites so you get a better idea of what we're about. Thank you very much. Have a great evening, everybody.